Hey, what's up, guys? It's Joel here, and I'm doing an intro to my intro. And I know that sounds weird, but this clutch really threw me for a loop. This is clutch 14. I actually cut it about 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't post the cutting right away. And I'm going to try to explain why here, and then I'm going to get into to the cutting and what's happened since. So this clutch actually turned out, at least I thought at the time, quite tragically. It wasn't what I expected, and I feared the worst. In fact, you'll notice as you watch that at one point I actually paused the video. I kind of got stuck, like my brain kind of froze, and I paused the video and walked away because I had to gather myself. I was just kind of reeling a little bit emotionally on this roller coaster. But I came back, I tried to stay positive and finish cutting the rest of the eggs. But to be honest, by the time I was done, I feared the worst. And the next couple of days after that, things just looked bleak. And so I'm not going to try and give too much of that away because I don't want to spend so much time talking. I'm about to post the unedited cutting video, which includes the introduction that I filmed before I actually started cutting the eggs. You'll notice that my voice changes towards the end, and didn't really feel optimistic at all at the end of the cutting. But I'm going to come back in after that. I'm going to share with you kind of what happened in the several days to a week after I cut the clutch, and share with you a couple of different firsts that I believe not only will be interesting to you, but hopefully educational and may help some of you in the future. So I'll kind of fill in the gaps, and then I'm going to finish up with giving you an update of where the clutch stands today. And I have to tell you, thankfully, it's a lot better than I originally thought it would be. So thanks for joining me. I hope you stick into the end. I know this is going to be a little longer one, but thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, friends? It's Joe here, and we are back for, yes, another clutch cutting video. This is actually clutch 14 of 2024. You may notice that we didn't have one for clutch 13 because unfortunately clutch 13 was all slugs. So clutch 14 is here. This is the first clutch that was laid while I was out of the country. So I'm really excited to see what's in there. And another thing that holds excitement in this clutch is that something a little odd happened. With this clutch, we actually had our very first ever boob egg. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you right up here what it looked like when my son pulled that clutch of eggs for us while I was in Eastern Europe. So you can see it looked kind of funny and misshapen, and it just didn't look right. But thankfully, it had very strong veins. But something really odd happened during incubation. I noticed through the window that that little egg looked like it was starting to grow mold. So I pulled the box, I opened it up, and sure enough, mold was growing all over the little discolored side that wasn't fully calcidized, or whatever the proper way to say that is. It didn't have enough calcium. The veins still look good, but I had to get that mold off of there. And this really weird thing happened. I was cleaning the mold off very gently, no problem, came off, didn't seem like it was deep set or anything. And then I grabbed my trusty Lotrimin powder, which is just an antifungal powder, and I started to put it on the egg, because that will help try to, stop the mold growth. And I've never had this happen before, but as soon as the powder hit the egg, the end just almost split and started oozing the amniotic fluid out of the egg. And oh my gosh, I was freaking out. I grabbed like a paper towel real quick, and I tried to hold it shut while I figured out what to do. So I pulled out my phone. I called my wife. I was like, please hurry. I need you to bring me some Elmer's glue, quick, fast. So she came in with the school glue that my kids use for projects. And I didn't know what I was doing. This was what came to me at the time. So I actually made a little mixture of Lotrimin powder and glue. I think I saw somebody do that somewhere years ago. And I tried to stick it to the side of the egg, but it wasn't. It was still kind of oozing. So then I tried to glue that paper towel on there, and then it dawned on me that paper towels will very easily mold. So I grabbed a piece of butcher paper. I wish I had all this on video, but I didn't. You'll get to see what it looks like now in a second. I don't know what it looks like. I haven't checked on it in a couple weeks. So anyway, I grabbed a piece of butcher paper, tore it off since it's kind of coated and should not mold like a paper towel. And I tried my best to glue it onto the end to seal that egg off. I'm not sure how well it worked. It did seem the last time I checked in like the mold hadn't developed, and it did seem like it still had good veins. So we're going to find out tonight, like, did it make it? So hopefully it will. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on and let's get to the good stuff. Let's see what those eggs hold, and let's see if this little baby makes it out of the egg. So thanks for tuning in. Let's watch. All right, so here we go. Here's our clutch. Here's our little mystery egg that we don't know how it's doing. I'm going to actually do it last. Of course, I got to create a little suspense and excitement for you. I mean, you could fast forward if you want to, but let's wait and see together. This will be the first little warning. Of course, I don't know what to expect. There could be something wrong with that baby potentially. I don't know. I haven't taken the cover off. I didn't cheat and look ahead or anything. So we're going to truly find out together. This clutch is a pied female to an OD leopard pied het clown male. And again, this was the first clutch that was pulled while I was out of the country. So hopefully we got some good stuff here. Does not look like any have pipped. And of course, it was egg number one is the one set off to the side. So let's get started and hope for the best. Boop. All right. So all of these will be pieds, since it was pied to pied visually. And we've got a little pied baby there, obviously. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I thought it was dead the way its head was bobbing back and forth, but I touched it and it definitely reacted strongly. Whew, don't scare me like that, little buddy. I'll try to reserve judgment until it's out of the egg. Definitely looks like we might have leopard in there, but hard to say for sure. All right. Number three. Number three. All right. Ooh, whoa. Wow. This is a very light and broken up pattern. Very intriguing. This clutch we had one last year from this clutch that looked like it had some kind of mystery gene to it. And made it look a little different than all the other babies. So looks like we might have that mystery appearance as well. It might be a gene. It may just be, the way that, it's called polymorphism. You have the same morphs, but they just look different. Just like you have in humans to an extent, but it'll be interesting to see when these come out. Come on. I'm like getting stuck on something. All right. Can't see much. Just a little bit of pattern there. They're going to make us wait. All right. Sorry, this is taking a while. Trying to hurry so we can get to that last baby and see how things are. Once again, can't see much. All right, well, these ones are not playing along nicely today. Oop, I'm gonna take a quick pause.
All right, sorry about that. Something came up that I had to step away and address, and now let's get back into it. All right, buddy. Let's see what we got. Not much to go on, just a little nose. Like I said, we know these are um, all going to be pieds. This one has a little weird spot on the end of it. It's kind of similar to what was going on with this standalone egg, but obviously to a much less extent. Number 7. I just realized I took my mic off. Another pod. Sorry, this one's kind of anticlimactic, and until they crawl out, can't really tell what's going on.
Oh, sorry about that. I realized just now that I had taken my mic off when I had to take that little intermission, and I forgot to put it back on. So sorry about that if you can't hear me very well. We're almost there. But again, we know they're all pieds. They could be pieds. They could be orange dream pieds. They could be leopard pieds or orange dream leopard pieds. Got some color on that one, but still not a whole lot. They're not giving us much to go on. All right, next to last one, and then we'll see what's going on in the leaky egg. Come on. Doing all right, Owen? Can't tell again. All right. Rearrange my eggs here a little bit, and then let's take a look. So I'm going to take a look at this last egg now. I don't know what to expect, so you may want to. Well, I guess this is viewer discretion advised. I really don't know what I'm going to find inside this egg. It doesn't look super great, but it looks possible. So you can see on the end here is where the mold started to grow. I used the glue, the butcher paper kind of help hold it together, it looks like, but we'll see for sure in just a second here. Again, I don't know what I'll find in here, so your viewer discretion advised. If you're sensitive to something might be wrong, you might want to turn away. Let me bring this back over here and cut over the big box. Sorry about that. Oh, hoping for the best. I can see the baby. Looks like it's fully formed. I got a little resistance there, but it's not moving much. So it's hard to tell. Once again, we'll have to see if it crawls out or when it crawls out, hopefully. So we'll just have to wait and hope for the best. To be honest, there's a couple of babies in there that I'm not sure about. They didn't have the typical response to touch that I feel for. That doesn't automatically mean that there's a problem, but I am worried that some of these may not make it out of the egg. But we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching with me. Hopefully I'll have a great update to tag on to the end of this with the babies that are able to get out of the egg. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I'll have an update to post right after this, so stay tuned. All right, so there you see, I was really not feeling optimistic at the end of that cutting, and you could hear it in my voice. To be honest with you, once I turned off the camera, I checked them all out closer, and I honestly believed, I went in the house, I told my wife, I said, I don't think any of those babies are going to survive. I don't think any of them are viable. The only movement I was getting was very twitchy, so almost like a nerve reaction rather than the baby kind of tensing up or moving a little bit based on the touch. And I've only ever seen that one time before, and it was in a couple of babies that crawled out of the egg and passed away. And so I really, really did not think that any of them were going to be viable. You may have noticed in the video that the yolk, or the fluid in the egg, the amniotic fluid, really was a lot thicker than it normally is. It was almost gel-like rather than liquidy. And that was off. The eggs felt weird to cut, and I wasn't getting reaction from the babies. And so I honestly thought every single one of them was either dead in the egg or was going to pass away shortly thereafter. Obviously that was heartbreaking. Like my head was all kind of jacked up. I honestly didn't think I was going to post the video, but incubate till there's no debate. So I actually put them back in the incubator just like I do anytime I cut eggs, and I left them there. Now the next day, the clutch 15, which was due 2 days later than that clutch, laid 2 days later than clutch 14, they started pipping, and so I actually cut them that evening, and they all look great. I put them back in, and they actually all came out of the egg, finished absorbing their yolk, came out of the egg, and were doing well before any of the ones in clutch 14 had moved. So, of course, I got them cleaned out and put away, but 3 days had gone by, and I didn't see anything positive from that clutch. The yolk wasn't being absorbed, the fluid. It seemed murky. I don't know if that's just from exposure to oxygen or what, but it just did not look good. And I feared the worst. I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it, but at the same time, like I almost couldn't bring myself to look in there. But I did. And on the third day, I noticed that one of the babies had its nose out and had turned around. And so I was like, it did that on its own. So maybe there's hope. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be succinct here, but so much happened. I gave it a couple more days or another day, and I started to see a little bit of movement from some of them. So I went in, I changed them to a new tub that was, fresh and clean, and I kind of poured out some of that fluid in the egg because it seemed just gross, and they weren't really absorbing it. I gave them some water, added it to the egg to make sure they stayed hydrated and moist. But for the first time, I had some hope. And so in a minute here, I'm going to share with you just an update video. They started to crawl out of the egg, but it became apparent that things weren't wrapping up, finishing the way that they should. And I had some babies that were attached to their umbilicus, attached to the egg sac inside the egg, when normally it should have closed up. So I decided that I had to do surgery, if you will, to try and keep them alive, because I still wasn't sure how strong they were. But leaving that attached is not a good thing. So here I'm about to show you the first time I've ever had to tie off and cut umbilical cords. I actually had to do that for 3 snakes, and there was another one that was connected, but I wanted to try something a little different with that one, which I'm going to explain here in these clips. But I do want to warn you, this is a little gross. It's graphic. There's kind of like some stuff everywhere, a little bit of blood, and it's just messy. So if you don't like kind of gross medically type stuff, this might be hard to watch. But I want to share it with you because I think it was valuable. It definitely was a first for me, and it was helpful for me to talk to and see other veteran breeders do what I'm about to show you here. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to come back at the end and update you on the clutch and where they all stand today. So let's take a look.
All right, so we're going to pull out the baby here. My son Ezra is going to help me. And we're going to be gentle here. It's kind of gross, but as you can see, this umbilical cord has not separated at all. You can see the blood vessel coming down there. So we're gonna try and put a tourniquet on there and close it off so that we can save this baby's life. All right. So, bud, if you can just stand ready to, it's a beautiful snake, to kind of hold it if need be, but it's not moving around too much, so this dental floss is all right. So I'm just going to do, I know, buddy, I'm sorry, a basic knot. And it started to cut through there, which I was hoping it would not. We're going to finish the knot here. I don't see blood coming out, so that's good. But if we leave this like this baby could die. So we want a tourniquet to cut that off, cut off the blood supply so that when we snip this off down here, we can separate it from the egg and let that umbilical cord drop off as it dries out. So everything looks good so far. It didn't really bleed. So what I'm going to do now is grab a tub and put it on a really wet tub to finish this process. All right, so I'm back here. I'm going to gently pick my boy or girl up here and show you just how beautiful this snake is. I don't know what's going on here, but we've got the umbilical cord, basically tourniquet applied there, and now I'm going to put him in his own tub. This is very wet, so that will keep it from like drying out too quickly, but after a couple days it'll dry off and hopefully fall off like it normally does on its own. All right, so here we have one more, at least one more that is also not connected, and you can tell that it's barely getting anything. It's starting to kind of, I don't know, not really dry out, but it doesn't look very healthy, the connection to the yolk sac here. So again, we're gonna try to apply this tourniquet and snip this off. But originally I thought this clutch had died. So this is very good news, but just to show you here, I think we got it nice and tight. Hopefully none of you will ever need this type of instruction, but if you do, hopefully this will be helpful. And we're going to get them put away. A lot of them are still sitting in the egg there. And again, no blood, perfect. So we're going to get this baby into its own individual tub to hopefully wait and shed out, or not shed out, for this umbilical cord to absorb, dry out, and fall off. Whew, hey little buddy. Let's give you a cameo at least. You're doing so good. Beautiful pie.
All right, so I'm coming back here. I've been kind of taking them out one by one, and this one also is attached, but I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm not going to take this one off quite yet because it's huge and thick and connected to blood vessels. So I'm actually going to kind of put this one in this very, very moist deli cup and put it in the tub with the others to see if we can get that to shrink down some before trying to remove it, because there's a lot of blood vessels I can see still going to it. So I want to see if we can shrink that down first. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have a great update for you later. All right, so I'm back here with the last egg from this clutch, and as I was trying to check it out to see if it was still attached, I could see some blood vessels in here rupture, it looks like, and so he's starting to bleed. So I think if I don't get this, gosh, he's so little, if I can get this tied off, it'll save his life. All right, buddy, I know this is probably not going to feel great. This guy's really, really small, looks fully developed, but might be the smallest ball python I've ever hatched. So hopefully everything goes well with this guy. All right, here we go. We don't want to cut too close to it. A little bit of blood there, but that was from this side of the thing, so I think we're going to be okay here. He looks pretty good, other than he's reactive, but he's really, really little. Very small. So again, hoping for the best. We'll update you guys soon. Hey, so I just wanted to come in real quick and do an update on this baby that had the really thick attachment still to the yolk sac, and it's just been one day overnight, and look at how much it's absorbed. The yolk sac is almost all gone. Hopefully you can see that okay. So I know it's kind of gross, but we're going to give this baby one more day in here. I think we're going to be okay. I don't think we'll actually even need to clip anything, but we'll put it back for another day, and then we'll check on it tomorrow. If it's still hanging like that, I'll go ahead and tie it off and clip it. But so far it looks great. All right, so sorry about that. I know this is getting long, but there's just so much to cover here. But as you can see from those cuttings, these babies actually seem to be doing okay. They seem to be viable. And yes, I'm pleased to report that as of today, it's the 6th of September. So it's been a little over 2 weeks since I cut those eggs. All of those babies are alive. The most of them have shed out. There's three actually or 2 out of the 3 that I had to cut the umbilical cord. They still have not shed yet, so they look kind of wrinkly and they look kind of funny, but they actually seem to be doing quite well. And I'm happy to report that every baby seems like they're going to make it. Our little boob egg baby that I accidentally ruptured the egg and it leaked all over the place actually survived and looks great, very healthy. The little tiny baby that was only 46 grams, which I've seen some a lot smaller than that from other people, but it's the smallest one I've personally hatched yet. Actually little, but seems to be doing quite well. And so I'm happy to share them with you here. I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to pull these out one at a time, or well, not one at a time, that would take forever, but I'm going to pull them out and show them to you, and I'll explain which one was which, so you can kind of see what happened between their umbilical cord or the boob egg and where they are now. And then hopefully tomorrow you'll watch this and celebrate with me that these babies seem to be doing great. So, woo! Let's take a look. All right, so I'm a little spread out here, but these are the 4 that did not have to have umbilical cords cut. They came off on their own. This is not our little boob egg baby either, but you see this beautiful, I'm thinking OD leopard pied, maybe orange dream pied for sure, but maybe OD leopard. Beautiful. That's a female, so she's looking great. We've got a sister here, another female pied. I believe this is just our a standard pied, no additional genes, no leopard, no OD, I think. You can see those 2 little ladies up there, and then we've got our hiding baby over here. She's so pretty. You remember probably seeing her in the egg, and I was kind of gushing, but look at her. Or him, sorry, this is a male. Isn't he gorgeous? I'm guessing pastel leopard is what I think. I think the one of the parents in this clutch has pastel, even though I can't tell that one of them does. But maybe it's some other lightning gene that's kind of breaking up and pixelating the pattern a little bit. But what a beauty. And he's doing great, even though he likes to hide under his paper towels. And then we got one more over here in the corner. Again, another, I think maybe a leopard pied or a standard pied. It's really hard to say because that neck is all the pattern. Oh, you were coming at me, weren't you? Like, I don't like you moving me around like this. There we go. Relax. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But so 3 out of the 4 are females. But this, if you like high white, man, this girl's for you. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to come back with our boob egg baby. All right, and looky here. This is our little boob egg baby that I don't think I did anything wrong to make it leak, but it started leaking. So it's the first time I've ever had an egg rupture. And all I did was put the powder on it and it started leaking immediately. But my glue, Lotrimin, and butcher paper solution worked. You can see how beautiful this girl is. I'm thinking this is an OD pied. And yeah, I think, no, this is a boy. But he's actually big and healthy. One of the bigger ones in the clutch, one of the better looking ones in the clutch, which is just kind of crazy. But just goes to show you, even when potentially tragic things happen, if you keep cool, there's a way. Even though the egg sprung a leak, we got a beautiful baby from it, healthy, and hopefully ready to start eating soon. All right, I'm going to put him up, and we'll take a look at the babies that we had to cut the umbilical cords for. All right, so I thought first I would start with this one here. I haven't sexed this one yet, but you can see it also has that like pastel-y type patterning and breakup. Great head stamp. But this is the one that was really hadn't absorbed much, and I put it in that deli cup with the really moist environment, and within a day it had absorbed most of it. So in the future I'll definitely try that before I tie anything off. Oh, it just bit me. I know, I'm trying to show them your belly button. But as you can see, that's where its umbilicus was, and it is closed up almost perfectly. So a little bit of an attitude problem. I'm sorry I didn't ask permission first. Feisty monkey. We'll get him put away, and we'll take a look at the other 3 that we had to cut. All right, so this feisty little monkey here is very jumpy. Has struck at me twice already from inside the tub. So I'm going to I'll try and zoom y'all in. I'm not going to pick him up. As you can see, he's all wrinkly. He or she, all wrinkly, has not shed yet. Same condition with this one here. But both great looking, good size. They're a little bit smaller, but they're just a little behind the curve on the shedding department, which I don't think is that unusual. Sometimes that happens when everything is perfect with the clutch, but these 2 haven't shed yet. But as you can see by my feisty buddy here, still got plenty of energy. Don't be like that. All right, sorry. And here is our mini-me. Let's see if he's got that kind of energy. He or she, I have not sexed him yet either, but he actually shed. So this is the only one of the umbilical cutting babies that actually shed already. And you can see he's actually looks pretty decent. He looked really small, he or she, really small when I got him out. And he's about 45, 46 grams, which is a lot smaller than what I typically hatch out. Normally more in the 60 gram range, 60 to 70 gram range. And this little fireball over here is still just going at it. So anyway, let me get these little monkeys up and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, so there you go. That feisty joker was still striking when I put him away. I was trying to stress him as little as possible, but he was just on edge. But I understand he's close to shedding and he's a little guy that doesn't know what's going on. So we won't fault him. I'm sure he's going to be a great pet for someone one of these days soon. So anyway, if you're still watching at this point, you are a true ball python lover, and I thank you so much. Maybe just an animal lover in general, because I don't think you have to be crazy about ball pythons to enjoy the experience of what happened here. What I thought was going to be a total tragedy actually turned out to be a miracle of all the babies surviving. They all seem like they're doing well, strong, healthy, and I don't know if I was just losing my mind there or if I got a true miracle. I did pray the Lord would help these babies bounce back, and they did. So, man, what an adventure. Thanks for sticking in here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something, and we got to experience some more firsts together. So thanks for tuning in. Please remember, as always, to share the love of reptiles with anybody you can. I'll see you guys next time.